I'm going to attempt to casually and coherently explain this very interesting game called the ALTERS. While perhaps on the surface seeming like a generic survival game, it does get pretty deep and has a unique core mechanic. I've never seen anything like it. So sit back and enjoy what the developers of Frostpunk have in store for us. This game is a mix of science fiction survival and story-driven adventure, and its biggest selling point will likely be the rather game-defining mechanic that involves cloning alternate versions of yourself. But starting from the beginning, you play as the character named Jan Dolsky to be specific, who, along with his crew, unfortunately crash-landed on a mysterious planet. You wake up alone, with both your crew and your captain dead from the crash. So your immediate mission is to figure out how to survive and eventually get off this planet. Thankfully, you'll soon be introduced to a mobile base. That does of course need constant upgrades and repairs. The problem here is that this very complex base was meant to be operated by a set of skilled and authorized professionals, and you are just Jan. There will be a solution to this problem later on, but for now, you'll make the best with what little you have of course. Dying is not an option for us. In order to get things started, we'll need to gather resources so we can get this base remotely operational. We need metals, organic materials, and other resources. Some are even radioactive. While doing all that, you have to manage Jan's time and energy carefully, both of which are limited. For better efficiency, you can scan areas and set up mining outposts too. Now up until this point, you may think alright, sounds decent, but it's not exactly something I've never heard of or experienced before. But here's where it gets really interesting. Not too far into the game, Jan finds a substance called Rapidium, which he learns can ultimately be used to clone himself. These clones, also called ALTERS in the game, is based on a different life decision Jan could have made. This means every alter has different skills, knowledge, and also personalities. When creating an alter, you are presented with a timeline of Jan's life, and this timeline highlights key decisions that could have led to drastically different outcomes. Let's say Jan instead chose to stay with his family to take care of his mother, or what would have happened if Jan fought harder to save his marriage. All of these decisions and questions he's asking himself will lead to a new and completely different Jan. So you select a point on the timeline and make a different choice than the one original Jan made, and you get an alter with a unique set of skills and experiences. It is important to note here that the playable character will always be the original Jan you started with. Now, the first alter you create will always be a technician, which is good. So you finally have someone who can help you with repairs and stuff. Later on you will have many different Jans, like a scientist Jan, gardener Jan, or cook Jan. Since they aren't exact copies of you, they have their own ambitions, goals and fears. And that, needless to say, can create problems. You have a small but important community. Each clone can handle different duties, making your base more efficient, but you also have to manage relationships with your alters. They can get frustrated, rebellious or cooperative, based on their personality. So let's talk about how the game progresses. You make progress by moving from one area to another, thanks to the mobile base, always trying to stay ahead of the deadly sunrise. Each new area also has new challenges and requires different resources in order to survive. The ultimate goal is to build up your mobile base sufficiently, so you can one day escape the planet. I'd say the fun in ALTERS comes from the unique cloning mechanic and the deep storytelling. It has the potential to be something truly special if it can balance all these elements. Let me know if this was interesting, and if you have further questions or any suggestions, feel free to drop them in the comments. I try to respond to everyone.